Terraria is a definition of a game that is easy to learn but hard to master. And movement in Terraria isn't just about running left and right, it's an art. If you want to move like a pro, dodge danger, dash through dungeons and dance across boss arenas, you're in the right place. Today we are breaking down the best movement tech in Terraria. Some of these are easy to pick up, others will take a bit of practice, but all of them will fundamentally change the way you play. So without further ado, let's start with the essentials. The most important early game mobility tool, grappling hooks. Newer players often underestimate how a simple hook can change the way you play and how it can save our life in situations where you would normally die. So first off, fall damage immunity. Hooks can deny all fall damage. This is because a hook travels faster than you fall. A perfectly timed grapple right before hitting the ground completely cancels the damage. Timing is key, but with a bit of practice, surviving massive drops becomes second nature. You see, normally you would take fall damage from this hit. However, with a timed grapple we take no damage at all. This can be used in any given situation where you would otherwise face fall damage. Another reason to use the hook more frequently is movement speed. Hooks are a great source of speed. By quickly performing a grapple on a surface at a flat angle and then immediately jumping right after the hook hit the ground, you maintain the momentum boost gained from the initial grapple. Used together with the Hermes boots, you can get to maximum movement speed in no time. This makes your early game movement far more dynamic and makes dodging early bosses significantly easier. Usually it is a first to do on the list every time we start a new playthrough. You just need a couple of gems per hook, which you find commonly underground. Otherwise, the first boss, the Slime King, also drops a very good early hook. Next up on the list is one of the most beloved and useful items in the whole game, the Shield of Cthulhu, that is required for the best way to gain massive speed boost. Card dashing. Dashing is a game changer. It allows you to change directions at full speed without sacrificing too much momentum, which can be essential for dodging and quickly repositioning. You can even use it to gain a quick burst of speed before continuing to run. That much is known to most Terraria players, but did you know you can abuse the dash with a minecart? Card dashing is a trick used in PvE but also by the PvP community. Just place a single rail and dash into it. Right before you would pause the rail, press the button for the minecart. You will rocket forward at incredible speed, letting you cover huge distances in no time. It's an advanced movement tech, but one of the fastest way to travel pre-endgame. You can use this on your boss arena to quickly get around and dodge attacks. It really takes a bit of practice to get the timing right and to fully understand when to use the minecart, but once it's mastered, it's one of the most effective movement tech out there. Just take a look at the speed and how quickly it picks up once you successfully pull off a card dash. And the best part, you can do it with any minecart and rails are accessible even before the first boss. That said, you still want to defeat the first boss to get the Shield of Cthulhu in first place. For even more movement tricks, let's take a look at the Slime Saddle. The Slime Saddle mount dropped by King Slime looks like the worst mount in Terraria to newcomers, but the reality is it is one of the best utility mounts in the entire game for two core reasons. One of them is increased fall speed. It increases your fall speed by 100%, meaning you fall twice as fast. This might look somewhat useless on first glance, but it is incredibly useful to dodge bosses and projectiles. The second reason is that you bounce off enemies, which means you won't get damage but instead deal damage and jump to safety just by falling on enemies. Pair that with wings and a dash and you get the Trinity force of movement. Beside this, the Slime Saddle is also commonly used to travel through elevator fairly quick, and thus it's one of the most used, if not the most used mount in the whole game. Just don't use it to move forward. Now for a movement tech that requires no boss progression and no gear, just a simple potion, the Gravity Potion. The Gravity Potion has a mixed reputation, but its benefit is obvious. Infinite flight time with the press of a button, or at least as long the potion lasts. This isn't just useful for finding sky islands, it can completely trivialize many early game boss fights if you can master the confusion of constantly flipping the screen. It's arguably one of the best movement items the game has to offer. The best part is you can find these potions in chests on the map before the first boss. Paired with a Featherfall potion for slowfall, it makes for a combination that holds a lot of advantages for just about any situation, even if used below the surface. Now, I wanted to include the use of platforms, but ultimately they decided that I won't dive too deep into it because it falls more into the bracket of building. While platforms can be useful to quickly climb high spaces or dodge danger, it doesn't require much learning. If you, however, didn't use platforms to get around yet, I recommend trying them instead of ropes or full blocks in the early game. But anyway, I hope this video helped newcomer or even experienced Terrarians to get around in a much better fashion. All of the featured movement tech here is accessible very early, and most of these techniques will turn the early game into easy mode. Have fun trying some of them, and thank you for watching. This was WardosBox, and I see you next time.